Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today we are going to discuss a very important enumeration tool which is called Nmap. Nmap is a versatile and powerful network scanning tool that is widely used by system administrators, security professionals and ethical hackers for a variety of purposes. We cannot cover everything related to Nmap commands, but I will try to cover as much as possible. We'll be discussing few options for Nmap in this video. I'll cover different use cases of Nmap, which is network discovery, port scanning, service version detection, operating system detection, and aggressive scanning options, script scanning options, and UDP scanning, fast scanning, and all these kinds of options I'll be discussing in this video. So we'll go ahead and first look at the man pages of the Nmap. So I'll type man Nmap. So this man pages clearly gives us all the information and all the options of how to use this particular tool and what is this tool all about. So they are mentioning that this Nmap tool is for network exploration tool and security and port scanner. So as I already said, this is a very important tool, and every ethical hacker or every penetration tester will be starting with this Nmap tool in order to find out the assets in the network and also what ports or services are open on that particular asset. So I'll show you. It's also showing here what is the format in which we need to use the command. So first we need to type nmap in order to use nmap, and then the scan type. So what is the scan type you're gonna use, whether it is a UDP scan or a TCP scan, what kind of scan. So these are different options. I'll show you some options in detail and what is the target you're gonna scan on. So now I'll quit from the uh, man pages of the Nmap. You just type Q and you'll come back to the normal terminal. So now I'll clear the terminal, and so first command we are going to learn in the Nmap is for the network discovery. So just imagine you have a network with multiple machines in the network, but you don't know what machines are there. So what do? You just type nmap and you just want to ping the machines first. I'll just show you. This option is just for network discovery, so it don't you it this option, if you mention this option, the nmap tool won't be scanning the machines. It just pings the machine and tells if the machine is up or not. So I'll show you. So before this, I first want to know what is my IP address in order to know my network. I can see this is my network. I'll copy that, nmap -sn, and paste. So I'll just give 0 here and enter. So as you can see, there are quite a few machines in my network. So there's .1, .2, .128, 254 and 132. As you can clearly see, 132 is my own machine. So even if I do an in detail scan on my own machine, it won't show anything because there is nothing running on my machine. So this is one of the basic commands, just to ping. It's not to scan or anything. But if you want to do a port scan on the machines here and see what ports are open for different machines, you can use -p. So you can use different options here as well. If you mention it as -p dash p dash, then it means that you want to scan all the ports for the machines. So I will do that, and I'll paste my network IP, subnet network, and what this command will do is this will go and try to scan each of the IP address and see what are the ports which are open, right? So this might take some time, but I'll run it and wait for a few seconds. So I had to wait around like 2 to 3 minutes for this scan to be completed. So Nmap usually takes that much of time based on the network complexity and number of hosts. So in my network I have, I think, 4 or 5 machines, so it took 3-4 minutes, and that too not an in detail scan, it's just the port scan. So it shows the results like this. So it shows the ports, what is the service, and nothing in detail about the service. It just shows the ports and detects the service name based on the port number as well. So you can see here, I have a Windows machine which seems like a domain controller, and yeah, before scanning this I have spun a Windows 2016 server and configured it as a domain controller, and you can see the IP address of the domain controller is .128. So here you can see it found the Nmap scan found the .128 machine, which is domain controller, and all the ports related to that. So I don't want to, so when I was performing pen testing or any kind of CTF, I don't want to wait this much of time. So there is one more option for in the Nmap. So I also don't want to scan all the ports. I'll just scan ports 1 to 100, and I'll also only scan the domain controller, which is 128. Or maybe we'll scan until 10,000. So as we are scanning only one host, so here there is an option in Nmap which is minimum rate. So this actually speeds up the process of Nmap scan. If I just click the enter, and if I click one more time, so even before clicking it just took like 2-3 seconds for it to complete. So this is a rapid scan, but I mostly use this initially, and then after I know what ports are open, I'll go and scan in detail scan with all the different options which I'm going to show now. But just be aware that this is not an accurate output. So when you use minimum rate, the Nmap doesn't show the all the ports accurately. It might miss some ports as well because it does rapid scanning. So you might just want to be aware before doing that, but it's fine to scan. So the next option I want to show is for service version detection, which is -SV. So I'll do that minus, I'll do that for all ports, -SV for the version detection, and IP I'll just take this IP, copy paste, and I'll do minimum rate as well because I don't want to wait forever. So it took about 1 minute of time. So here you can see the difference between the previous scan and this scan. So here I just scanned, I mentioned the option of ports, and it just showed me the ports in the service. Here if you see, it shows detail version information as well. So this option, service version detection, detects what kind of version the service is running on as well. So this is one option to know the in detail service information. And there is one more option which is -O, which shows the operating system. So this is the first command you can run to know what operation. I just predicted based on the ports, if there is a Kerberos and if there is assembly port, all these ports together, I guessed that this must be a Windows machine based on the ports. But if you want to clearly know what port it is, you can just run this. I'll run minimum rate here as well. And here it clearly shows me that this is Microsoft Windows Server 2016, which is accurate as I showed you before. But Nmap doesn't always predict accurate operating system information. So, but this is just a guess. So it is guessing 97% that this is Microsoft Windows Server 2016. But yeah, mostly it does show the accurate operating system, but we can't just believe based on the output sometimes. And this is one option to know what kind of operating system we are dealing with. And there is one more option which is called aggressive scanning, which is -a. I'll copy paste the IP and minimum rate as well here. So if you use -a option, it enables aggressive scanning, which means it includes service version detection and OS detection and script scanning as well. I'll discuss what is script scanning in the next command. But what is -a? It does -o inbuilt, and it does -sv inbuilt, and also minus script, which I'll show later. But this is an aggressive scanning which includes all the three different options together. So I'll click enter, take some time, and it finished scanning the network. And as you can see, it is more detailed than the previous scan. It's showing the version information as well, and you can see a lot of other information as well from the LDAP. So yeah, so this is one kind of aggressive scan. And next option which you can use is -- script. So this is an Nmap option which runs inbuilt scripts against the target. So for suppose, if you want to know if there are any SMB vulnerabilities, there is a script uh, which is called as SMB-1. And I don't remember the full name, so I can just use it as star. So what this will do is, this will nmap script will run do all the SMB vulnerability checks against the target. So if you give the target and copy this and paste it, and I'll just run ports 139 and 445, which is relevant to SMB. So I'll do enter. Sorry, before doing this, I'll also use minimum rate so that I don't need to wait for half an hour. So it returned the results with few checks for MS10061 and MS10054. It can't find both of the vulnerabilities, so there are no SMB vulnerabilities on the target. So this is a pre-built scripts which are provided by Nmap. So you can, if you want to know what kind of scripts are available, we can just try to locate star .nsc. All the scripts will end with nsc. So as you can see, there are a lot of scripts here. If you want to filter them out, there is an inbuilt tool, another tool called as grep. So what I want to grep here, I want to grep only SMB vulnerabilities, and it will return all the SMB vulnerabilities here, all the scripts you can use for SMB vulnerabilities. So I've just used SMB-1, which checks for all the vulnerabilities, but here you can also do SMB enumeration as well. These scripts are for enumerating groups, services, and sessions through SMB file share. So this is a pretty handy option, -- script, in order to do predefined checks. So now I'll show another option, which is minus pn. So this option, so scanning, normal scanning on our own devices is fine, but if you're gonna scan in an enterprise network, so what Nmap does is, if it first checks, it first pings the target and see if it is up or not, and then try to internally scan if we use minus SV, or if we use any other option to do a detailed scan, version scan, or aggressive scan. It first pings the target and then do an in detail scan. So what happens in enterprise networks, if we ping different machines, there'll be different firewalls configured, right? So firewall might be blocking us because we are pinging the machine. So this is a better tool, better option to use when you're in network which are having firewalls. So you can just use that simply, like nmap minus pn, and you can just mention the target here, and it just scans it. Yeah, as you can see, it resulted in the same kind of information, but it works in a slightly different way. And there is one more option, which is nmap as u. I would say u is for scanning udp ports. There is another option for scanning TCP scan. This is ST is a TCP scan. What this does is this scans the target with fully performing a full three-way handshake. So you must be having some networking knowledge in order to understand what is a full three-way handshake and what is a half a handshake. So if we perform a full TCP handshake, we'll get the most accurate results. But if we do normal scan, so Nmap doesn't automatically do the TCP scan, because if we do a TCP scan on the target, we might be uh, doing an aggressive scan on the target, and it might block us if there is any defender or a firewall in between. But in test environments and in CTFs, you can just do whatever you want. So there is one more option. If you want to store results from the scan into a file, there is an option called -o. So I'll simply use -o, and I'll say scan results dot text, and the IP. If I enter it, now it must be storing the same results in this particular file. Sorry. Yeah, as you can see, it stored the nmap results in here. We can also store the nmap result in XML output format. You just need to use -ox to do that, and that is fine. So yeah, in this video, so we can't cover all the options in this video. It takes the whole day to explain all, all the options which are offered by nmap, but we discussed very few and important options in this particular video. So I'll just do a recap. So we first uh, tried to do network discovery using nmap -sn. So we just used -sn and tried to do the ping scan on the whole network. And next we tried to uh, do port scan on the target. from 1 to 10,000 ports, and we have tried to detect version on the target, service versions, and we have tried to do minus capital O, which is operating system detection on the target, and we have tried to do aggressive scan, which includes service version detection, OS detection, and script scanning. We have tried to do a script scan on with SMB vulnerabilities. It doesn't auto populate here, but we have tried to do SMB-1 star like this on the target, and we have tried to do a UDP scan. I haven't showed you completely, but this is how you do a UDP scan with SU. I have showed you how to do a TCP scan with minus ST, and I've showed you how to output the results by using minus O option, minus N, and minus X for XML output. And yeah, these are all basic commands which we have learned today. And if you have any doubts, and if you want me to cover an in-depth session on Nmap utility, feel free to comment and like. Thank you very much.